The sun has arisen on this beautiful land in the far East Asian countryside. It is the isle which hosts one of the greatest and will host great F1 circuit races. As you can know, multiple world champions have been crowned here at the Suzuka International Racing Course. We are here for round 7 of season 5 for Sim Racing Heat NSA Pro. You've joined me on this beautiful evening to see one of the greatest go at it in this league, and let's see who can navigate the only track in a 6-figure to make sure that you don't get dizzy around here, because there are a lot of fast corners and it's flat out racing for 27 laps. My name is Herman, and you have joined me once again for the 7th of 15 races in this season. As usual, we will check if any changes have been made to the lineup, and once again I can confirm that. We have a departure at McLaren in the name of Pies. He has been moved back, or he has moved himself back to the reserve driver role. And Hardcore has joined to replace Ziakto at Haas, who hasn't been racing with us for the whole season so far, so that might be a super convenient move for Haas. And as I am aware, this is also a full Belgium lineup now. And we have some additions to the reserve pool, as Pies is now back to reserve role, and Scott has joined us for tonight as well. The only track in a figure of 8 is upon us now, with the first 7 corners being very tricky to handle. Not a real braking zone into turn 1, and overtaking is difficult, and if it gets wet here tonight, it is gonna get even more difficult. The best passing opportunities actually into the one of 3 corners that make up the last sector of this lap, turn 16, right before the DS detection zone. You can pass someone there, be behind them at the detection zone, and then overtake them into the chicane, or even have a better chance down the straight with some help of DRS. The second sector is mostly flat out also tricky, braking into turn 11 with a fast right-hand kink just before the hairpin, and obviously spoon curve, the double apex left-hander in the second sector here. The standings currently holds. No, let's go to the race result last time. We had an amazing race between the top 3, as Fellerson landed first over the line after a late safety car caused by Jack, who, as you can see, didn't finish the race in 16th there. And Critical took the win. Fellerson came across the line first, but had penalties. And there was a chance for Andy to go for it, but he missed out on final approach to the bus stop chicane. And after they hit the brakes, Schauser was very close to them. And on the exit, he actually got ahead of Andy Andre. So he took his first podium in this league, the second for Aston Martin in a row. So they are currently on an upwards trend. As you can see, his teammate is 6 as well, started 3rd. And we had a full wet to inter-qualifying last time out. Moksha 4th after what can only be described as a heartbreaking end to the last lap of the Hungarian Grand Prix just before that. And then we had Control taking 7th. Slayer had a decent result for Sauber, probably not here with us tonight. And Pies in his final McLaren outing for now. And GR1, Guy Rapke, who had replaced Pleasant Snake, who is with us once again tonight. And he scored a point on his debut. Then Bosnian, Nosibo, Kovatska, Krankjork. All finished off the remainder of the finishers. John Meister got himself a drive-through penalty under the safety car caused by Jack, and then decided to call it quits. And Haas had a miserable day. Both Belgium drivers retiring, as Schumi Formula's only reserve, and Gizmokus also not finishing. This concluded the following in the drivers' standings. There's another 28 points gap to Andy Andre from critical down. John Meister didn't score again. Bigger gap. Control overtook Jack. Pleasant hasn't scored for 2 races because he wasn't there. Chaza up into P7. And then that's equal points for them. Fellas in 8th. Jan by Moksha. Bosnian helmet. Then it's the first kick Sauber of Slayer. Nosibo. Kovaska Pies. And Supermax, as well as GR1, who have scored all so far in this season. Next up, is the Constructors World Championship. That's a 20-point lead over Red Bull from Ferrari. But as you can see, Aston Martin, who have now moved into P5, have scored 1 point more than Ferrari last time out, and outscored them by a set 1 point, and also have moved up a bit now. And Mercedes and Williams have now settled the order for now. They were on 69 each last time out. And then looking back at it, Racing Bulls is down by a bit. Not driving with a second driver. And that has hurt them a bit. Alpine, 22 points. And then it's 18 for Kick Sauber. Haas with 11 and McLaren with 4. And we are ready to head into the game. Let's get going. Let's see what the newest lineup for Sim Racing Heat in this season can produce in terms of action for tonight. We have once again an 18-minute qualifying session before we head to a 50% race. Check everything here. Right. I'm gonna turn the game up maybe a bit, just in advance. And we should be good to go. And it is currently a dry session for 16 drivers for tonight. I don't know why I always use this. I need it for the lap. Track map. So once again, we have Bosnian helmet for Albini, so Romania. For the current season as of right now, Kismikus is once again with us for Ferrari. Then Krankjork, who recently moved to Kick Sauber. Then it's Scott taking the Alpine seat, not the McLaren, as I was informed earlier. Snake is back. Then it's Moksha. Oh, maybe it might be raining soon. So many people are heading out. Moksha. Then Hardcore in the Haas for his first outing is actually starting on the mediums here. Gianpai and Chaza. Then we have Jack, who needs to redeem himself after what can only be described as a painful exit of the race last time out. Nocebo, then it's Critical, Fallison, Control, Supermax, and Kowalska. And as you can see, we are missing Andy, John Meister, and Slayer, and no one has taken the role from Pies as of right now as a full-time driver, nor as a reserve. Hold up tonight. Just gonna keep these tires away. Just wanna see if there's rain on the horizon, because multiple people jumped out of the pit lane. Let's see. Oh, there's a Haas actually in front. Supermax, okay. Suzuka had its fair share of wet races over the times Formula 1 has raced here, and obviously that famous 2008 to 2007 race at Fuji, where it was horrendously wet. Yas is gonna show us what time he can do in the first sector, and we will check in with Bosnian, who has just beaten that by over 2 seconds almost. And there's a pass into the gravel. So Bosnian is probably going to be the first one to set a competitive lap time. No rain. But I'm not sure why Supermax thinks he needs to complete the lap here and block Bosnian. There's a bit of sunshine coming through the clouds, so I would assume there is actually no rain on the horizon, as we hit a 1:11.888 after the second sector for the Alpine driver here now. He has a prime chance to get onto the podium tonight, as Andy Andre, one of our ongoing podium finishers, is out for tonight. Hardcore on the mediums, then it's Moksha, and then it's Jack. And he has beaten his teammate by half a second, and there's a 30.2 for the Haas, as we see Krankjok make it over the line. Andy has been on the podium 4 times in 6 races and has taken 1 win in Hungary. Next to cross the line is the only Red Bull for tonight, that's Fallison. Next is Scott, who's on an out lap. We skipped that. And it's Moksha. No, it's Kovatska, sorry. Moksha has crossed the line already. Into P7 on a 30.5. Krankjok posted a 31.2. Next up is a very happy Aston Martin from last race. And he's within 2 tenths behind the current pole position holder of Bosnian Helmet. And there's a Snake goes to P8 on his return after a holiday break, and Scott is the next. I want to cross the line. I don't think anyone has an answer to their previous attempts. The tires are used heavily here in terms of wear. I can't see anyone run the soft tire in a race. They just die out way too fast. There's a 12.4 for Scott, so he is down by some time already compared to Bosnian. Let's see what the guy with the number 8 who's filling in For tonight as a reserve. Can do across the line. He goes to P7. That's a 29.6. Critica is on an outlap. Supermax is on an outlap after he went into the gravel trap at the exit of Degner 2. And Jianbai is only a 10th behind our current provisional pole sitter of Bosnian Helmet. I would assume though Critica might go and beat this by over half a second, so a low 28. Maybe a 2, maybe a 1, who knows. Onto one of the longer flat out sections on this track. That's 3/10 down, but still in a shot as Moksha goes to second, and he's 1/1000th of a second behind Control as we watch Jianpai cross the line to take 4th position ahead of his teammate by 10,000th of a second. These two are greatly matched. No other team has been so competitive overall and consistent with their race times and especially quali, because they don't no one of them dominates the other, and they don't have space for a piece of paper in between at times, basically. So that is very interesting. Let's see if Critical on his first run, as we have approached the 10-minute mark in the session, and that's 3/10 faster in the second sector as Nocibo now moves out of the way. He has been trying to rejoin the session and has some internet issues, as it seems. Across the line for Critical, and he goes to a 28.4, and that's more in the range of a mid 28. As Jack is starting another lap. Oh, that's Moksha coming into the bits. Nocibo is starting a lap now. Super Max has set his first time with 31.7, and Krankyok has just improved by some time. As Fellison is starting his second attempt, as well as Moksha, and there is Jack as well on a start-finish straight. And Bosnian Helmet is already out on his second attempt and will start his flying lap now. As you can expect, people will probably be doing 2 to 3 runs in an 18-minute qualifying session. Who is next to cross the line? That's Hardcore on his fresh set of softs. Can he bring some hope to Haas? He has not completed his lap after healing into the pit lane. Let's see what Sibo can do. He's just driving past Supermax there. As I said, the longest flat out section on this track from Spoon exit to the chicane as Sibo goes into P14. And Kismokus. Oh, there's another attempt from Critical trying to answer his lap as Fellison goes to 4th. Control has gone to 2nd on a 28.5. That is very, very closely matched. Who's next to cross the line? Jack has speed into the pit lane. Moksha has completed a lap. Fast enough for P10. It's a 30.0. And Chaza has started another attempt. As Bosnian goes to 2nd on also a 28.5. But a low 28.5. See what Critical has installed for us. Also see Scott on an outlap. Currently invalidated. Doesn't matter really. Janpai at the start of the second sector is also going for another run here. Snake is on his second attempt as well with 6 minutes to go. Critica is currently down. Not sure if he thinks there's time left in the last sector. Is he completing the lap? He will not complete the lap. Let's see if Snake can improve. Currently P12. Bit out of range. What he was capable of doing beforehand. And that's a 29.252. As we see NoSebo starting another lap. And that's P9 for the V-Carb driver as of right now. There's a spin on NoSebo as he hits the brakes. And it's another attempt for Jianpai as Chaza has pulled into the pit lane. And there's a disqualification for NoSebo going the wrong way after trying to exit the gravel trap in turn 1. And that means he will be starting from the back. And he has his work cut out for him as Scott is approaching the end of the second sector. His teammate has pulled into the pit lane. He's just 0.02 of a second faster. That would mean no real improvement. Not only time-wise, but also position-wise. He will also not complete the lap, as there's Hardcore now starting a lap. Let's go on board with the new acquired Haas teammate to Supermax as we hit turns 3 and 4 inside the first sector. Very tricky to get right in previous games, but also traction cannot be overestimated here. And the running out, the fading out to the outer line up the Dunlop curve of turn 7. Now we hit the brakes for turn 9. That is Degner 2. The fast right hand kick into the hairpin of turn 11 has been remodeled and widened, so you can actually race here. And he has just passed his teammate who has spun out. Now we approach Spoon, famous for attempted dive to the inside from Sebastian Vettel in 2018. And Max Verstappen had none of that. We are approaching 130R for turn 15. He is currently up by 0.7 of a second. And he will hit the brakes for the chicane now. Cut it as much as you can. Oh, and the rear snaps out there. And he is trying to complete the lap. And that's only improvement by 0.02 of a second. And I think, to be honest with you, he should have aborted that, because now there's no time to get back into the pit lane and have another go at it. Control is the first out on his final run. Out of the two drivers who is trying to challenge Critical for pole position, he has gone first as Moksha improves to a 28.6 and goes up to P4. As we can see that Jianpai has previously improved to 28.8 and has moved ahead of fellow Sun. And is now locked up. Who is next to cross the line? That is a front wing missing for Haas. With the number 99. That's no improvement for him as well. Control is up by 2.5 He can set the bar for the drivers to beat throughout the remaining 3 minutes of this session. Critica and Bosnian are out. Can he take provisional pole position? He can, and he does, by improving by 3 hundredths. No, by 3/10, sorry. By 3/10, almost 4/10 improvement, and it's a 28.200 for the V Cup driver who's currently putting his teammate into the shades. As Chaza as well as Jack have started their final attempts, Hardcore cannot improve past P12 as he has pulled into the pit lane. Is there another attempt for Moksha as well? He was very late out, but there could be another improvement line for him. Bosnian is starting his lap. Critic is still in the second sector. There is the Alpine reserve teammate, Ian Scott, starting his final lap. A minute is left on the clock. You need to make sure you cross the line in the next 60 seconds. Gizmukus, currently no valid lap time to his name, is starting now and is trying to get himself into the mix for maybe a point scoring finish. There's also Pleasant Snake, who's currently in P number 9 on his return. There is Critical with half a minute to go. Krankjörg is right behind him. And after that, that's Control, who's probably peeling into the pit lane now. No, he is recharged and he is going again. So he can improve if the tires give it to him. Allison with 11 seconds on the clock. What about these drivers? Jack has gone across the line, P4. No improvement for Chaza, stays P8. There's Moksha into the pit lane. That's qualifying over for the Williams driver. Maximum P... Oh no, that was Gianpai, sorry, earlier. That's Chaza here now. Who's crossed the line now? Gianpai in 6. Scott stays 10th. What about Bosnian? He has an invalid lap time. He cannot improve past Critical nor Control. And Critic is currently up by half. 2.5 tenths. Which would be enough. What can his teammate do? Coming out of the final corner now. Into P14. On a 31.6. Just out of Supermax. There is Pleasant Snake. Can improve, but is only up into P9. Stays there. Critical over the line. Takes pole position by over 5.5 tenths to his next rival. But Control, does he have an answer to what the Ferrari has just been posting? No, he's 3 tenths down. There's Fallison. And he goes to a third. Snatches away P3 from Bosnian. What about Krankjörg? Invalidation. What about Chaza? Goes across the line, goes 5th. Also to 28.5. Wow, Critically takes another pole position. Great lap by the Ferrari driver. Control stayed there where he was. Over 3.5 tenths behind. Then Fallison with a last lap attempt as Bosnian struggled to complete another one. Chaza into P5 ahead of the Williams duo of Jack and Moksha. Gianpai is 8th, so there's a Aston Martin sandwich with some Williams in between. Pleasant Snake is in P9. Scott Kovatska Hardcore on his debut is in P12. Krankjörg 13. Kismukus 14th. Supermax and Nosibu, who has been disqualified. And it is light clouds for the start of this race. It's T-Burn. T-Burn was here? We will be starting in 5 minutes as per usual. So, let's talk some stats here, guys, as we await the approach, the upcoming 7th race of the season. Currently, critical damage has achieved 4 wins in the first 6 races, taking his 4th win last time out. He has been on the podium every time but once, and that was in the opening race of the season in Spain. There's also been 1 podium for both Red Bulls. Let's see if Fellison can improve on that stat tonight. Both of them are currently equal on 1, but John Meister obviously has taken that 1 podium with his win in Spain. Then Andy Andre has been 5 times on the podium. He will not improve on that for tonight as he's not here. Bosnian has been on the podium once in 5 races, has missed out on 1 race. Genpai and Chaza have achieved 1 podium. Genpai did it in 4 attended races. Chaza has been attending all of them so far. Jack has 2 podiums to his name. Moksha has 1 to his name as well. And also Pleasant Snake and his teammate in Control have achieved a podium each. And let's see who can add to the tally in terms of podiums. There's a high chance that next to Critical, 5 drivers will be fighting for that. Maybe even 6 or 7. Because down from Control to Chaza in P8, everyone is capable of doing so. Let's see if we have anything else here for you. Not right now, so we just await the start of this race. As per usual, there is no formation lap. We just have to wait for the camera to switch up and giving us hopefully a good perspective on the race start. The 2 minutes away. As we go through 5 red lights for the Japanese Grand Prix. And it's lights out and away we go. And there's an immediate move to the inside for Critical as they approach turn 1 right now. There's Bosnian into third and he's also fighting with Control as they approach the braking for turn 3. And the Alpine has moved into second position, sorry. As we see different tires being displayed here. Chaza and Jack. On soft as well as Pleasant Snake. Is the soft actually a viable option here? Would surprise me certainly. As we can see that Critical's start has been once again phenomenal as there's Supermax who needs to lead by Nocebo after he has had a moment on the exit of Degna 2. And it's currently a Ferrari sandwich. The start of the second sector, there's a slight contact between the sister teams and there might be a charge now. Oh, Bosnian is taking the lead before 130R and he's looking feisty. Has used more ERS but is into the lead now. Alpine is leading the race after lap 1. There was slight pressure for Fellison in fourth after Chaza was looking juicy and there's a spin for Supermax. And Hardcore is going to the inside of Crank York. Can he make the move stick? No, he cannot for now. And both of the Williams are looking feisty as well. Moksha in a bit of a pity because he has someone in front of him that is on soft tires and someone behind who is on soft tires. And obviously you don't want to attack your teammate that is on a faster tire. There's another moment for Kismukus and Supermax. Control. They're all using various lines of braking into turn 11 and there's the first gap for the DRS. Between Scott and Hardcore, who has some time to gain on Scott, currently 1.6 seconds behind. As we approach 130R for the second time, everything is it's looking like a chain of pearls when approaching turn 15, and now there might be a change of the lead once again as Critical pulls out of the slipstream of the Alpine and the Ferrari is back into first place. There's no chance to counter an attack like this. There's no corner in the first sector that allows you to race side by side and get hold of a better line throughout the first 7 corners. So you are basically stuck there. As Kovatska is now lost out and Gianpai is down to 10th. So there was maybe a swap of positions. Yeah, that might be the reason because why they lost out right now. And obviously everyone here in this train is gonna feel like battery saving. Maybe not Moksha, who needs to close up as there's another yellow flag for one of our back markers. And there's Control racing with Bosnian into 130R. They are side by side. They touch a bit. There's an outside curb right, and there's Fellison to the inside of Control. Can he make it stick? No, he cannot, but he's right in the diffuser of the V-carb. As Bosnian is now unable to have an attack launched on the current leader, and there's now another side-by-side moment, and there's a spin from Krankjork as Fellison is trying to go around the outside of Control. 2 Hungarians going Edit for P number 3, and now Control has lost out to it. Let's see if Chaza has an opportunity. There's a 3-second time penalty for Kismukus already, and there's another spin for Supermax, and there's a spin for Fellison! He's off! He's off at the Dunlop curb! And he has probably lost his front wing. Yeah, front left is damaged heavily, and that is a bummer for Red Bull, because they only could afford to bring one car. After the recent incidences John Meister has got himself into. No, I'm just kidding. He just couldn't make it. And there's now a second gap between Bosnian and Control, who's losing out as of right now. Critical is holding double the charge. And another flag for Supermax. They seem to be struggling with tire temps and overall level of performance. And there is Nocibo passing Fellison before they hit the braking. For the chicane, is there an opportunity for Bosnian to go down the inside? It was briefly, and now Chaza's up into third. He's making good use of his fresh soft. Has moved up 2 places as Fellison has now pitted for fresh hards. And judging by how the game has been going so far, you can expect him to bring that tire till the end. He is now down by 12 positions as Kismukus has passed him. Bob Fosibo has started on the back, and now Chaza is being pressured by Control, by Jack. Moksha has lost out on the DRS, maybe is under pressure from the second V carb. There's mostly been moving up for the drivers. See how these tires are sticking up. No, also Pleasant Snake has lost out a bit here. In terms of chances, there was a battle with Control and Chaza going into 130R. And when applying the brakes for turn number 16, he was at, and now Jack wants to have a look at the fellow Brit, and he has passed him before they even start to think about braking for turn 2, because realistically turn 1 is just setting the car up in the right direction and just hit the brakes when your car's in a straight line into the second turn. And there is a second Williams coming through right now as Gianpai is putting pressure towards Pleasant Snake. The top 2 are just going at it. Is there a chance from Moksha around the outside on the hairpin? Is there enough traction? Yes. Is there enough road on the inside for Chaza to defend? Yes. Is there enough ERS charge for Moksha? Also yes. And it's Williams 4 and 5 after that move, and he now needs to get away here because ERS levels are similar. The top 2 are still fighting in terms of let's get away from the guys behind. Control is unable to pull that. Get closer to them. So there's Moksha probably overtaking Jack now, and there's Bosnian getting past Critical, and the Williams duo have swapped. They might have realized that the tires are dying soon. And there's Supermax off, who will be lapped soon. That's out of the way. There's ghosting on as well. So nothing to worry about for these drivers as they have completed Sector 1 of Lap 7. The top two are still closely matched, but Control has lost out because they are boosting themselves with the DRS and the slipstreaming, despite the this track not being a Monster-esque type. And Supermax has received another 30-second time penalty, the second one of this race. And let's see what else can happen to him. There's a slow moment for Scott, it seems, because Kovatska is now on the back of him. Is Critical trying to overtake Bosnian into the hairpin? Doesn't seem to be the case. What about Kovatska? Nope. That was no attempt at all. Critical goes to the right hand side of the Alpine. And there's another time penalty as Shaza has overtaken Jack now. As Moksha's almost close to pulling out, and there is Kovatska moving himself up to P number 9. The only and sole remaining Mercedes for this race. Bringing in some points as of right now. Still will be going maybe the faster soft tire during a later stage of the race. I don't get how C3 softs are just that different to C2 softs. C4. But hey, I don't really know how to make a tire. Could have just kept the rainbow. Anyways, I'm getting carried away. Expect one of these 3 drivers we have currently in the shot to make a move in terms of pit strategy soon. They want a nice undercut to be going for them. Maybe there's also some weather on the horizon. These seem to be, but those clouds seem to be forming, as Bosnian is now overtaking Critical once again for P number 1. Control is almost 2.5 seconds behind. Gaza is not under pressure from Jack as of right now. And Gizmokosa is retired in the pit lane. No use to keep that going. When you spin every time, Krankirk is trying to pull in on Nocebo as Fellison is currently 43 seconds behind the leader group. He needs a safety car to get his race back together, as this mixture of cars still going at it. And Supermax has retired in the pit lane as well. They are the private who can spin more duel, as Hardcore is now to P10 as Kovatska has lost to Scott, and now the Haas to be demoted to P number 11. And Critical, despite battling with Bosnian, is not letting go of that gap to Control behind. It has come down by 2 to 3 tenths now, but still nothing of a risk. And there's pit stops now, as both Chaza, Jack and Pleasant have come into the pit lane on the same lap. And it's actually mediums for them. I'm surprised that works here. Position wise, nothing has changed. Let's see where they will be coming out. They were 8 seconds behind the leader. So maybe 21 seconds. Maybe more. 23 or 24 seconds lost in the pit lane. Oh, that seems to be too much. Chaza is 28 behind now. I think they were... Yeah, and Moksha, and that's like a 9-second gap. But 18 to 20 maybe. Let's see where they end up. Everyone in front of them is very likely to be at risk of being undercut by them. Apart from the top 3 guys. I'm genuinely surprised by how this is going. No rain, but it's getting cloudier. And maybe that's why they are using this strategy. Scott has pulled into the pit lane. Oh, sorry, wrong button. First to respond to the guys here. That's a hard tire. It doesn't trust herself really. I really wonder if weather is being affected, because from light cloud it has gone to overcast, and maybe some of these drivers are thinking, yeah, look, starting on hard, going to the end there won't cut it. Maybe some of the medium runners think, hey, let's just extend until we have that point upon us, as Chaza has already dispatched Nocebo, and Jack is behind the McLaren now. One of the both of these teams being incredible in their Formula 1 history and their richness in the sport. Their names are legendary, as Pleasant Snake has also dispatched Nocebo, who hasn't but didn't fight that at all. Critical into P1 as Moksha is now into the pit lane. I really think the weather's gonna be... Some drivers are going to the hard, so they don't think weather is gonna be a factor, if it's gonna be a factor anyway. Chaza putting the new fastest laps. I'm surprised on how different these strategies are. Like, I can imagine Critical going to the softs, I can him go to the hards. Scott is now up into P11 as Kovatska has pitted now. As the warmer tires though, Fellison still needs a safety car. Crankdog has pitted to soft, so maybe he thinks the weather's coming into play. I certainly think there's a chance for that. No one has received a 3-second time penalty out of these drivers who have remained in this race. 10 places down for Fellison, 7 up for Hardcore. But as you can see, top 5 as well as Nocebo have not pitted yet. I'm just waiting to see if drops of rain are coming down here. And Jack has overtaken Moksha, who has just rejoined as Bosnian moves into the pit lane. That's a soft now, I think. Thinks there's weather, but no, this gives me vibes of it being overcast, but not actually turning to rain. Control, Gianpai and Hardcore have also joined Bosnian in the pit lane. We changed to the white mark hard tire, and Hardcore has come out in P11 ahead of Kovatska. So that is currently the gap Bosnian is trailing Critical by. I can see the overcut work here. I'm really paranoid about weather right now. Sometimes I just see some things fly through the air. I swear I'm not on drugs. This is a drug-free podcast. The only drug I'm taking in is good racing. Sorry. Yeah, Nocibo is once again leading a bunch of cars who've just pitted, and Critic is onto the pit lane. Don't speed. And that's hard as well. 21.7 seconds was the gap. Yeah, my calculations make me think he's gonna stay ahead if any. Bosnian around the outside, and he takes the lead. What an undercut by the Alpine, and he has the fresher Robert in tires now. As of right now, it's warmed up. It's probably feeling a bit more grippier than the lap before. And he can try to push out of the second in terms of the DRS right now. And Control has now the opportunity to get into the DRS window of Critical, because he has opened up the gap with being some sort of like in-between part of this top 3 chain. And Chaza as well as Jack and Moksha have retaken 4th, 5th and 6th respectively. Really interested to see how these medium tires are gonna stand against these fresh hard tires. I think I raced in Japan already. Didn't we? I have Alzheimer's now. As Hardcore is into P9, overtaking Scott in the process, and Chaza has closed the gap down to Control and has taken the fastest lap of the race in the process. It was Belgium. Second race was Portimao. And Scott is re-overtaking. Oh! Hardcore has defended from the reserve Alpine driver. Great Britain was the first race, then it was Portimao, and then... Didn't we do Japan for race 3? Can't remember right now. Yeah, don't know. Kateria is trying to overtake Bosnian right now. He has pulled inside the slipstream and is now pulling to the outside and is retaking the lead. His control has dropped to 3 seconds now. I can confirm it was Canada, not Japan. Just forgot. Yeah, Chaza is looking racy and wants to take back-to-back podiums here. I'm really interested to see how these tires are gonna stand up. Currently it's overcast, so the clouds, basically no sun helps. Softer tires being more effective. There's a oversteer moment for Moksha, but Pleasant Snake can't get past the Williams around the outside. And he's under pressure from Gianpai now. His tires are the harder compound, but are half the laps old. As we watch from the rear wing view of the Ferrari as Bosnian and Critical go at it once again. And Critical has just improved the fastest lap to a 1:30.7. And Bosnian has improved his position to P1 and by 1. Scott is still racing hardcore for P9. What about Moksha here? Still under pressure here. Charge from Pleasant Snake is a bit lower. Dian has the highest. And Jack could even maybe start to pull away. As Chaza is now ultimately close to control. Has also improved his charge. Almost up. Now he has reached 100%, so battery is full and you should maybe start and use it. Because if you can extend the gap here now, the Hearts are not at the peak of their performance right now. Use more! More! Famous movie quote. Yeah, 5 seconds. Control is losing time. And Pleasant has moved past Moksha into 130R as Bosnian has improved the fastest lap as of right now. And he is on the outside. How much? Ooh! 35,000 of a second as Kovatska has received the 3-second time penalty. And there's more trouble brewing as Pleasant Snake has been overtaken by not only Moksha but also by Jianpai, who has retaken 7th place. And he is up by 1 as well. And Shaza is into P3. Just missed that with the other fights going on. You need to get a move on, my guy. Turn it up to 11. And with that I mean hot lap. And a bit of overtaking if you fancy it. Your tires are gonna die sooner because they are not only the softer compound but also older. Still some time for rain to hit us here at Suzuka. But currently it looks like the private duel at the top is continuing route here as Jianbai has overtaken Moksha. And that allows Jack to get away from her as Critica has once again overtaken Bosnian, and Control has reclaimed the final spot on the podium. Let's see what the 3 Musketeers are doing here. There's a late move from Moksha to the inside. Pleasant certainly felt that on his front right end plate. There is no damage, but there was just a tiny bit of contact. As Hardcore has reclaimed 9th position from Scott. He has once again taken that spot. Into Degner 1, it seems. I don't know how these two are battling and the gap is still opening up. None of these drivers are using their charge, I don't get why. Yeah, obviously they are boosting themselves with the DRS, but you can do that as well. Anyway. There's a spin from Crank York, who's now been demoted to last. And Bosnian had no chance but to stay behind. Could not pass Critical for P1. There's no opportunity for Shaza. There's gaps now here in the midfield. Janpa is not under pressure. Moksha is under pressure from Pleasant. The gaps throughout the field right now. Under 30 seconds between Fellison and Critical. But after that, some gaps. Fellison has also moved within the 3-second time penalty of Moksha. As he's on 15 lap old hearts. And there's a slight oversteer moment. A snap, as you can call them as well if you want to. For Snake, who's currently bringing some good team points after the Cup has struggled. With only one driver being there. And we're going into the final and dying stages of this race. And I think it's going to be a management of who is last on the penultimate lap, as Pleasant has overtaken Moksha, but he thinks, mate, let's go racing side by side into 10-15. That's more commonly known as 130R. Is there a chance for Chaza to take that place away? No. Still on 100% charge. 4.3 seconds. You don't really think that's time to get Jack into Frankio with a 3-second time penalty? Jack into the picture for third, but he's trying. Hardcore has been re-overtaken by Scott. A lot of private dueling going on for Alpine tonight. One is for P1 and one is for the final point. Despite that, I don't think there are any reserve drivers points for the Constructors' Championship. Go back to the front. Hardcore still within a shout here. Critical has pulled Kronk has pulled into the pit lane. Has been overtaken by the leaders. Is now lap down. And has retired in the pit lane as there's a side-by-side moment between Hardcore and Scott. He goes deep into the final chicane. Is there a chance now for the Alpine? Not really, as he didn't receive the DRS. Fellison tried to overtake Kovatska, but then lifted. Okay. Is there a moment where Critical thinks, yeah, we have an 8-second gap to the next car behind. I'm just gonna wait until there's the final passing opportunity so you don't get a counter attack. Unfortunately, the final moment is probably gonna be into this hairpin on lap 27 and not into the first corner of the last lap, also lap 27. Let's see what his plan looks like. For now, it is moving ahead of the Alpine for the 5,135,709th time in this race. Results may differ. And in Germany we say Angaben ohne Gewehr. Chaza has burned his tires and is now overcompensating with the DRS. With the ERS. So yeah, Fellison has now finally overtaken Kovatska and almost spins it out of turn 2. And as you can see, this seems to be a group. No, a partner therapy. Because we have the top two, then we have 3 and 4. Now while Jack is now under pressure from Jianpai, Pleasant Snake is still dueling with Moksha. Scott is having an affair with Hardcore. And then Cobalt Sky has just been left in the dust by Fellison. And only Nocebo is a poor lonely soul. I think that's quite funny to see on the track map. As Jianpai is now dispatching the Williams and has moved himself into P5. Jack's tires seem to be going. He charges battery. He can launch a counterattack. Critical wasn't re-overtaken. And Jack goes to the outside. That turns to the perfect racing line as he has cleared the Aston Martin behind before they even applied the brakes. And now it's into the final 4 laps of this race. There's still a chance for some good points for some teams here. Moksha could still swap with Pleasant when his tires die. Jack needs to protect them a bit. Let's go back to the top 2. Hardcore is close to Scott. Oh, never mind. Oh, they touched. There was a bit of bouncing coming from the Alpine. It was currently underfueled. Maybe he expected a safety car, who knows? But there is no out of the DRS window. And Bosnian has manually closed the DRS flap on his rear wing. Usually the braking will close the flap as a safety measure. Oh no, he goes wide! He goes wide! Has he blown his chances? Has he blown his chances? He needs to get a move on. Full power now. And Critical will have realized that. He overshot. That is turn 5? 4 or 5? I think 5. No, 4. We're hardcore right now. And he's currently out of the DRS zone. Mate. Uses all of his charge. And Critical still has more. Back into it. 20% down on the race leader. He needs to get within. But does he have enough? He's using more. You need to be in it to win it. And he has done it. But went deep again. And is losing out. And Critica is taking this one further ahead and away from Bosnia, as Control has now breached the 10-second gap to the next car. Chaza is unable to do anything. Jack has been riding on the last minutes and seconds of his tires, and only Moksha is really in a chance, has really a chance to improve his position, because his tires are probably feeling fine, and Fellison is even in some sort of a range to Scott to take a point after his early spin. And Critica has just pulled a 3.3 second on Bosnian, and that is surely a defeat for the Alpine, who was on the front row multiple times throughout the season so far. Always lost out to Critical, couldn't complete it with a good showing. This race will mark his second journey to the podium in 7 races. But we are currently watching Moksha battling with Pleasant Snake. More gaps have opened up. The tires of the medium runners are dying. And Pleasant Snake is probably gonna be vulnerable now. Can Moksha defeat him? Into turn number 1. There's a lot of ears being used. He goes to the outside and has swept around before applying brakes into turn 2. And Fellison has done it. He's into P10. He's currently in a points paying position after a horrible opening. Spun on lap 5. And has retaken a point, and Scott is currently looking like he will not score on debut. Had a good scrap with Hardcore, but wasn't feeling it after the collision that might have had happened. So yeah, that's it from Critical once again. He has done it. He will rise to the top step as he finishes in P1 in the land of the rising sun. Bosnian takes a phenomenal second, but he will think to himself, how did I screw this up? And I can tell you, by going over the curb in turn number 4 on the 25th lap, Control takes the podium. There's Chaza. There is a good finish for Aston Martin. Jack across the line, right in front of Moksha. Moksha in front of Pleasant. There's debut points for Hardcore. There's a fantastic P10 finish for Fellison. There's a Scott who is just running out of fuel, as well as Kovetska, and there's no Sibo there as well. Wow. Great recovery by Fellison. And I will make sure to talk to him. As Nosibo has crossed the line to finish as of. And that has been an incredible 5th race win in 7 races for Critical. Ferrari is on top, unlike in real life. Maybe they should ask for some advice. Sorry, I need to skip that. I want to get this in. Critical takes the win from Bosnian, who sticks to the fastest lap, takes 19 points away. Control into 3rd, Chaza in front of his teammate. Then it's Genpai 5th, Jack 6th, Moksha 7th. The Williams stayed where they started. Pleasant up to 8th, Hardcore from 12th to 9th. Fallison recovery, drive damage limitations, Scott into 11th, Kovaska 12th. Nosibo started from the back, P13, 14th Crank York, 15th Supermax, and 16th Gizmo Goose. Were there many incidents? No. Okay, that's good. Speak to you in a couple of minutes time for the drivers' interviews. Stay tight. Hello. We are back for the drivers' interviews after today's Japanese Grand Prix, and once again, Critical has taken the win away. But that was a hard fight, and only some laps before the end, there was a mistake made by your rival, and you could clinch away from him. And there's another Ferrari victory this season for you. Congratulations. How do you feel right now?
Thanks. Well, I'm totally exhausted. That was a very long and hard fight. Bosnian had amazing pace today. It was impossible for me to create a DRS gap. So I was preparing for a last lap battle, but I think in lap 25 or something like that, I saw that he made a mistake. So I pushed a little bit, spent some battery, and managed to bring it home.
Yeah, you were trading places throughout the race. I have to ask you about the strategy here tonight. There were different types of strategy in play. Some of the drivers started on softs, went to the undercut medium strategy. You were starting on the mediums. Did you think about going to the softs at the end there, or just playing it safe with the hard, stopping at the halfway mark of the race?
A viable strategy for today. I mean, the degradation was quite high, so I went with the safe strategy by going medium on the start and then a hard stint at the end.
Yeah, that's fair. I'm looking ahead to the halfway mark now. After next week in Miami, we will be already looking at half time. What do you think is achievable for you in Miami? And how do you make sure that you continue with your upward form and securing the title early and at the end of the season?
Well, Miami is quite a difficult track. A lot of incidents can happen there, late safety cars and so on. So I'll just make sure that I practice a little bit before the race. Make sure that I pick the right strategy and hope for a clean race.
Okay, thank you very much for your insights and speak to you next time in Miami.
Thanks. Bye bye.
And next up is Bosnian helmet for Alpine. You have had a good fight with the Ferrari and our current championship leader, Critical. You have been in some good pace, but the results didn't show it necessarily. So far, that has been your second podium, but you must feel a bit gutted about that mistake you made on lap 25. Walk us through it, how you experienced those fighting moments with Critical and that last lap. Showdown basically where you lost a bit out there.
Okay, hello. Firstly, I had to say that it was a really tough race. I was sweating all the time, so it's like 40 degrees in my apartment. So it wasn't really good. So despite air conditioning, so it's not really enjoyable. And also, I want to thank you, Herman, for broadcasting these races and your commentary. So you're doing this really well. As you remember last time when we spoke, I actually told you I won't be here for like September. So this is 1 week, just 1 week. I had to get back from my vacation. So it wasn't. I wasn't planning anything racing, and but today I was home. So okay, let's go, let's race. Congratulations to Critical. We had similar pace. Actually, this is the first time I had no incidents. Again, in quali, I made a mistake in my last lap. I had like half a second in my pocket, so it would be front row for sure. but managed to get good away, and we race actually really good. So it was hard to, as Critical said, to get out from DRS. But about that mistake, it's actually it's really funny. I was fully concentrated and racing, and then my 5-year-old daughter came in and just, oh, Daddy, I just want to kiss you, and then it happened. Actually, I lost the race right there. So okay, I forgive her. So it's good.
Okay, very good. A nice sweet story there. Obviously, you had that kind of good moment with the strategy here compared to Critical. You opened up a huge gap to P3 behind. Control was not able to comment with your pace, and then obviously you undercutted Critical there when you pitted. Did you feel like the hard tires were good to race on early on, because Bellison just basically completed the whole race on them, and you were just going for that undercut. Obviously, bit risky with the tire warm up in this game, but generally you could make it work. And obviously, there was maybe a chance to use that advantage. But obviously, every time you traded a bit of battery, that was difficult to get on. How do you think the strategy was in favor or maybe against you even today?
Yeah, thinking about starting on hards. Actually, my race pace was really good, and tire management felt okay. So at the end of the first stint, I had like 36 or 37% of my tires worn out. So the hards were really good choice, and it's actually depends on your driving style. I saw that Critical has this really aggressive driving style. I don't know, is he playing on controller or a wheel? But yeah, he was struggling actually in that first sector in those high speed corners, and especially in hairpin. We once we actually touched barely. I lost my front wing. But it was okay. Now you can say I could have started on the hards, but when you have the pace, maybe it could have played dividends at the end with Critical if I had some other strategy, or he as well. So, but fair play. Congratulations again. So this time I'm really off for next 2 or 3 weeks. So good luck to you all, guys. Well
Yeah,
done.
let's hope there's another challenger coming for Critical, as he seemed to be running away with it. And I wish you the best in terms of your off time, and then speak to you whenever you come back.
Thank
And
you. I think next season actually will be full, and it will be good. So between me, Critical, and Control, actually, John Meister as well. So
yeah.
this is summer, so people are going on vacation and skipping races. But okay, we will see. Good luck. Thank
Okay,
you.
thank you very much for that interview. Let's move to third place Control now. VCARB is on the podium once again. You have had a good scrap at the start, but then lost out to the top two, running away with it. Late in the race, there was Chaza on your back, and yeah, his tires wore out at the end there. How do you think was your race going for you, and how yeah, satisfied are you with your result tonight?
Yeah, welcome everyone. I think my qualifying result is a very good result. P2 is, I think, this it's a very good one. Yeah, I started the race. The first stint is very good. I keep the pace with the guys. After Falson overtake me, but he messed up some corner. And yeah, in the second stint, it's a really difficult one because Chaza is coming back to me with medium tires. Yeah, I need to be defending, but yeah, it's a good race.
Yeah, there was a lot of fighting with you there at the stage. Both of you, actually, I tried to look at it. Both were saving a lot of ERS there, and then yeah, just the hard was keeping you in there because this tire life is just basically infinite for this check. Do you think there was more in this with your pace, or do you feel like there was just this third place for you in there, and then you're just happy with that for now?
I think the Bosnian and Critical is more faster than me. So I think the P3 is a very good result. I can move more position.
Okay, then let's look ahead to next week's race, Miami. How do you like that track? Do you think you can get back to them and maybe challenge them for the win?
Miami is not my favorite track. It's a very difficult track, but I'm looking forward. Many things can happen.
Yeah, things can very much happen in this league. Okay, thank you very much for your insights. See you next time in Miami, and let's move to what can only be described as a miracle run for Fallison and his tires tonight. After an early spin on lap 5, you switched to the hard tires and made it into the points on the final lap of the race. How do you reflect on the race tonight?
I think I had a good pace in the first stint up until I made that mistake. I think the tires just a little bit overheated a bit too much, and I just lost the back of the car at the top of the hill. Actually, I thought that was gonna be it. I thought I'd die for sure at DNF, but somehow it only broke my wing off. So I managed to pit, and I thought the C1 tires can go a really long time, but I just had no pace on it. I struggled to catch back up to the field. I only overtook people really who messed up in front of me or made a mistake. So overall, it's damage limitation, but yeah, it's not a very good race.
What do you think would have been possible without a mistake? Because there were a lot of private fighting going on throughout the race. A lot of people were just in a two-man group, boosting themselves with DS here and just trying to get away from the race. There was a lot of fighting in the midfield when the first soft pack pitted for the medium. So what was your strategy going into the race after you just made some passes there and just being ahead of control before the spin?
Yeah, so the strategy was just a normal medium to hard, or I would have seen that if there is a safety car or something. But honestly, I think on the hards, I just had no pace. It was very consistent, but I was just off the pace. So I don't know. I was really struggling. Maybe because I tried to save them too much. I'm not sure.
Yeah, obviously there was a good showing from you last time out in Belgium where you crossed the line first. Now you have the setback once again. Do you have time to improve on stuff before heading for Miami, or do you feel like there's a bit of too much tough luck going on for you right now? Also, that 1 point is only the thing you score for your team tonight as well. With John Meister having 2-0 scores twice in a row. What do you think is the ingredient to get you back and going as we head into the second half of the season?
Practice.
But
That's
how
all
much?
I need practice. I haven't had any practice apart from about 45 minutes in free practice today, because I had my family visiting for a week, so I didn't even sit down in front of anything really. I wasn't driving anything. So I will practice probably every day, a little bit, a couple of hours maybe, and try to come back really strong at Miami.
Okay, wishing you the best of luck for next time in Miami as we head to round 8 of season 5 in Sim Racing Heat's NSA Pro. And if you enjoyed this, make sure to leave a follow on this channel. Watch the VODs back if you missed any of the previous races. We had a fantastic finish to last week's Belgium Grand Prix. Search Sim Racing Heat on YouTube and give them a follow there. My name has been Herman, and I'm looking forward to see you in 7 days' time for the Miami Grand Prix. See you. Have a good one.